quite a joy for me to introduce Jeff. Now, I have his introduction, and I will read it. But first, I have to really tell you how I really met Jeff. The very first time I met Jeff was, I believe, the very first time he was doing a speech contest. And I thought, what a young kid, how cute. And I was counting his uhs and ums, and I'm like, ooh, we gotta work on this. Well, fast forward a few years, I hadn't seen him and probably speak, that is. I've seen him on and off, but I heard him speak last year, and literally my jaw was like, wow. He has become such a classy, well-spoken, wonderful young man. It is one of the most wonderful joys to see somebody develop like that. So that's how I met Jeff. He is a graduate from Johns Hopkins School of Business with a master's degree. He's a professional speaker, author, entrepreneur, world traveler, and humanitarian. He loves to speak to high school and college students. He has a special message for all young people, and I personally think it's a message for all humans that you need to have. His book is wonderful, and I read that a while ago. Okay, he travels abroad, has read hundreds of books and articles mixed with lots of practical applications, and always leaving his audiences with useful tips on and strategies on how to have a better life. He is the author of Reach Your Mountaintop, 10 Keys to Finding the Hidden Opportunity in Your Setback, Flipping What You've Heard on Its Head, and Achieving Legendary Goals. It is my honor to introduce Jeff Davis. Sure, absolutely. Sorry, he didn't know I was going to do that. He's got none.
That was a wonderful introduction, and it's an honor to be here. Feel free to tell me if I need to speak up or talk louder so that you can all hear me. I'm going to dive right into a story. When I was 17 years old, baseball was my absolute life. My absolute life. Raise your hand if you ever played a sport when you were younger. So many of you can relate, but even if you haven't played a sport, the message will relate. So yes, I did get good grades while I was in high school. I got very good grades. But outside of school, sports was really my life. And I played 3 sports in high school: football in the fall, ski team in the winter, and baseball in the spring. And my junior year of high school, I was on varsity baseball. And it was my lifelong dream, my whole life, to be a starter on the high school varsity baseball team. Now, very quickly, I just want to give you a couple quick details. I'm not going to go into as much depth as I would if I were keynoting to a high school, but I just want to give you the tip of the iceberg details so you at least have an idea of where I'm coming from, and then I'll go into the core message. I competed on a team called Team Connecticut Baseball, TCB, AAU Summer Travel Baseball. So the best players from all across Connecticut came together and played on the top summer travel teams, and we competed in tournaments across Florida, Georgia, Ohio, Pennsylvania, New York, really all across the entire country. And I did really well. I was one of the best players on the team. I was a starter. And on top of that, I went to a showcase in New Jersey the summer before my senior year of high school. And at this showcase, the very best players, baseball players from across the entire country came together. So no exaggeration, the best of the best of the best. And I just happened to be on fire that day. I did very, very well. And a number of scouts came up to me after that showcase and said, "Jeff, you are the best player on that field." And I got countless letters in the mail from colleges who were interested in me playing at their school at a higher collegiate level. So that's obviously a very positive thing to hear. So let's go into my senior year of high school now. Everything went wrong. Everything went wrong. Now, there's a triple whammy behind this, because I know 17, everything going wrong, everything's relative, and a 17-year-old's problems are different than your problems, which would be more serious. But I'm going to give you the triple whammy. I had zero perspective. I hadn't yet traveled the world. Now I've lived abroad. I've lived in Europe. I've been to 5 continents. Now I've seen the horrors of the world. At 17, I don't mean that I saw 1% of it. I saw zero perspective. On top of that, second thing, is I had no tools to deal with challenges. Zero tools. I don't know why, and I'll loop back to it here at the end, but I had zero tools to deal with challenges. And the third thing is that no one cared. My 2 parents did care, but I wasn't often around them because I was at my high school, either going to school or playing one of the 3 sports that I played. And no one at my high school cared. That's not me being negative, nor is it me being insulting. It's a statement of truth. So keep those 3 things in mind. So senior year, things are going really, really badly. Football's not working out. Things are going crazy. The girl thing's not working out. All these setbacks happening. And I'm sliding down, and I kept on saying to myself, at least I will be a starter on the high school varsity baseball team. Now at this point I had committed to playing in college. I got recruited, like I said, by a number of colleges. I had now committed to playing baseball in college. And even though everything's going wrong, I kept on saying, well, I'm going to be a starter on that team. I'm still somebody. Now here's the core belief at my high school. It was a very competitive high school, private. And here's the core belief. If you played a sport, you were somebody. If you don't play a sport, you're a nobody. If you played a sport, you were somebody. If you don't play a sport, you are nobody. And here's where it got dysfunctional. That wasn't just my classmates. That would be understandable. It was the teachers. It was the coaches, the administrators. And I don't mean that I bought into that. I mean, I literally molded my psyche and soul into the belief that if you played a sport, you're somebody. And if you don't, you're nobody. So I'm going crazy training. I said, I'm not just going to be the best player on my baseball team, I'm going to be one of the best players in the conference. And I'm going all out training. So you can tell how much I cared. I just shared the tip of the iceberg. I'm not going to go into the full story, but at least you have that backstory in your mind as with what I'm about to share with you. So tryouts roll around, spring of my senior year. All these things went wrong, but I kept on saying, okay, I was unhappy and depressed my whole senior year, but at least I'm going to be on the baseball team. So tryouts roll around, and I'm on fire. I'm doing very, very well. My teammates said, Jeff, you've really come a long way. You've really earned the starting role. Final day of tryouts, we're facing a Division I college recruit pitcher. Top pitcher ranked by showcases in the country at our age level. Top pitcher in the country at our age level. Going to be a starter at Division I school. No one on my team could hit him. And I got up and I said, now is my chance to show who I am to my coach and to make a name for myself in his mind. It was a 2-2 pitch, and I crushed a double, crushed it off of the left center field fence, very close to a home run. We were down 9-0, but everyone was cheering for us. And for me, because someone finally got a hit off of him, broke up his no-hitter. That was fantastic to hear, especially the shortstop coming over to me and saying, nice hit, man, and giving me 5. That was really nice. So this is the final day of tryouts. It was a live scrimmage. We're headed back to the locker room. I'm on cloud 9. Even though I had all these setbacks my senior year of high school, I could now finally be happy. I could now finally be somebody. We go back to the locker room, and the coach takes out the list of names of the players who made the team. And I was so excited because I was ready to have a great spring of my senior year. And he reads the names one by one, and my name was not called. Spring of my senior year of high school, cut from the baseball team. College recruit athlete, one of the top players on Team Connecticut Baseball, expected by all my friends and college scouts and family members to be a starter, cut from the team. No warning, no reason why, I'm gone. Remember I told you that I didn't have, at that time, any tools to deal with setbacks. Right now you're looking at 27-year-old Jeff, after 10 years of very, very studious personal transformation, self-help, meeting inspirational people. So you're looking at 27-year-old Jeff. 17-year-old Jeff had 0 of that. And I don't even mean like a little of it, 0. So I'm driving home and I'm thinking to myself, I'm nobody, I'm worthless, I'm a failure. Because I bought into the belief that you had to be on a sports team to be somebody. And I know it's ridiculous. I know that's not the truth. I truly was 100% brainwashed. And I'm driving home and I said, I'm nobody, I'm nothing, I'm worthless. That's all I could think to myself. I went home. My parents were loving and supportive. Like I said, they were the silver lining amidst a lot of negativity in my high school. But I was so angry, I pushed them away. I didn't want their help. I was rude to them. I said, go away, get the heck away from me. And I waited until everyone went to sleep. And I was in such a tremendous degree of psychological pain. And bear with me, this is a little bit intense, but we will get to the other side better. So it does get better, but bear with me. I thought I could not go on. I had such a tremendous degree of psychological pain. All of my senior year, things were going wrong. And then spring of my senior year, I thought that was the one way I could be happy. And when I didn't make the team, I thought the only way to get out of my pain was to end my life. And I went to the garage, I picked up the rope, and it's not a pain I would wish on my worst enemy. It's not a pain I would wish on my worst enemy. And the way that no one in my high school cared is something I'm actively seeking to solve by speaking to high schools. I picked up the rope, I walked to the tree, and I said the only way to get out of this pain is to hang myself. And at that point, at the worst rock bottom moment of my life, embarrassed to tell a soul, I never thought I could ever share this, a spark of hope came to me right before I was about to hang myself. And the spark of hope said, Jeff, put down the rope, go back up to your room. There was one last spark of hope. I was destroyed psychologically, said, put down the rope, go back to your room. And when I was meditating in my room, at the rock bottom moment of my life, I realized something profound. Your self-worth does not depend on external circumstances. Your self-worth does not depend on external circumstances. And here's what I cannot understand, and I will not understand for the rest of my life. Why did not one person, forget about 3, forget about 2, not one person at my high school shared that with me? I'm not talking about spending your day or half a day or an hour or even 5 minutes. How about just 1 minute? How about just 1 minute with me and say, Jeff, if you don't make the team, it's not a big deal. Your life goes on, you're gonna be fine. Why did not one person share that with me? All I heard was, if you're on the team, you're somebody. If you're off the team, you're a nobody. Sports are all that matters in life. To be successful, you have to be a big sports star. That's all I heard nonstop, 4 years of high school. And when you hear something often enough, it becomes your belief. And that was fully brainwashed by that belief. Fully, not 99%, 100%. Your self-worth does not depend on external circumstances. Now, before I go into the final tips that I want to share with you, insights from the book I recently published, I want to take a quick step back and share something with you. I am 100% sure that the setbacks and challenges that you've been through in your life are worse than what I just described. In fact, I've been through challenges that were worse financially and physically, but psychologically, it was devastating. And here's what I want to share with you today. That while our circumstances are vastly different, feelings are universal, feelings are what connect us all. And the feelings of that moment and the lesson I learned is what I want to leave you with today. So please forget about the story. It was simply a vehicle to make an important point, to help the people you know in your life and yourself, that your self-worth does not depend on external circumstances. I share this with veterans. And I don't know if you knew this, but there are dozens of veterans who commit suicide daily. Now, here I am, I'm 27, I'm sharing something that happened to me when I was 17 years old. And when I first started speaking, I thought these veterans were going to laugh at me. Like, what do I have to offer them? And they came up to me and they said, Jeff, I needed to hear that. It applies to very, very, very diverse groups. I was speaking to medical students, and there were students who had been spending 28 years of their life to become a doctor, and they couldn't get the score on the MCATs they wanted, and things weren't working out for them, and some of them were suicidal because things weren't working out. And when I told them your self-worth doesn't depend on the outside world, it hit them, because their whole life was putting their self-worth onto being a doctor. This message applies to a lot of different people. If I'm speaking to a school and I'm speaking to students, even if they don't play sports, I will tell them your self-worth doesn't depend on the outcome of that test you're taking or the extracurricular activity you're doing. Now, let me be very clear that Yes, absolutely, always do your best and always try, always give it your all, but free yourself up to realize your self-worth does not depend on the external world. A couple nights ago, I was speaking to the student athletes at Post University in Waterbury, Connecticut. The head baseball coach brought me in. And even though they're already all on the team, he actually asked me to share this story. I talked to him on the phone beforehand. And the reason he wanted me to share it is because he said so many players on that team put their self-worth on the outcome of the game. He said one of his stars didn't get a good hit, so he punched the wall as hard as he could and shattered his wrist. And he said, Jeff, that person needs to hear your message that his self-worth doesn't depend on the outcome of the game. And the same goes for when I'm speaking to administrators. The students treat them very badly in some of these schools, like New Britain, Connecticut, and all across the country, Baltimore, Maryland, which is where I lived out of college. And the administrators appreciate hearing this message because the students treat them so poorly. And they have to remember that they can help those students, but they must not tie their self-worth to the way those students treat them. Really appreciate you bearing with me through that difficult part, because it's intense, but it has a beautiful lesson behind it. Your self-worth does not depend on external circumstances. We're now in the home stretch, and I'm going to share with you, not all that I wrote in the book, just a couple quick teasers, and by teasers I mean practical content that you can apply in your life. I mean, this is useful content. I interviewed 28 world-renowned experts. These were impossible to reach people that would never answer their phones or their emails because they're too busy. I went to conferences across the country and the world, and I went up to them directly, and 80% of the time, these icons, these billionaires, these politicians said, yes, Jeff, I will talk to you. I'd love to be in your book. I'm about to publish my third book. I got to chat with Mark Cuban, Senator Chris Murphy, various New York Times bestselling authors, and icons. So I'm very excited to also publish my third book, which is coming out in about a month and a half. My second book, Reach Your Mountaintop, has 5 pillars that I want to leave you with here today. And to segue from what I was just sharing, your self-worth doesn't depend on the external circumstances. That's a base camp realization. That's a core realization to going through your life. And I want to share with you 5 key pillars that you can use on a daily basis. First key pillar is to define your own version of success. 97% of people across the world will never do this. Define your own version of success. Write down what does it mean to you, not to the outside world. It may not be about money or prestige or what society wants you to buy in. Remember, I told you how I was brainwashed by my high school. Well, there's a larger, bigger analogy here. Society is also brainwashing the whole world to make us believe that we need certain things to be happy and successful. That's not true. Write out what success means to you, even if it doesn't match up with the external world. Second tip, second pillar of the mountaintop way of life is to master and implement the mountaintop mindset. What do I mean by that? I'm talking about your mindset, your psychology. Well, my core flaw in high school, and I also did this in college and beyond, I'm much better at it now, and hopefully you don't do this as much as I did, but it's to enjoy the present moment. Enjoy each day along the way. And I know you've probably heard that before. You're probably thinking, Jeff, that's really nothing new. Enjoy today. But here's what I want to put into your mind. It's not what you know, it's what you apply that counts. It's not what you know, it's what you apply. And most people don't apply this, including myself. And I'm getting better at it, but I'm still struggling with it. I'm dying to publish my next book, and I keep on looking ahead to June of 2017, but I'm also happy today. So I have changed from where I was earlier, where I was never happy in the present moment. It was always determined on an external event happening. I'm very happy. This is a huge blessing and honor to come speak to your Rotary Club, and I'm very pleased to have that opportunity. So I'm enjoying the moment even as I'm pushing forward. And that's what I'm suggesting for you. Have your goals, your vision, and your plan, but also take time to appreciate each day. Third pillar of the mountaintop way of life, I'm just giving you 5 quick ones here today, is to be emotionally intelligent. Be emotionally intelligent. Now, Ava in her introduction shared how I went to Johns Hopkins Graduate School of Business. It's one of the top business schools in the world. And even this school did not teach it. That's not a knock against Johns Hopkins, it's a great school. But most high schools, most colleges, most universities, most graduate schools do not teach this. That it's not about what happens to you, it's how you respond that counts. And in my book, Reach Your Mountaintop, I got to talk to one of the top emotional intelligence experts in the entire world. And he's based in California, he's a radio show host, We talked on the phone, and I featured his insights in the book, Michael Benner. And what was awesome about that is that he talked about substituting knee-jerk reflexive reactions with even-tempered, well-reasoned responses. Substituting knee-jerk reactions with even-tempered responses. Again, that's pretty straightforward, but no one ever taught that to me. No one ever shared it to me. And I had these negative things happening to me, and I overreacted constantly in high school and college because I thought that was the way to handle it. And what happened is I let someone else's negativity ruin me, and I would be the one who would have to end up apologizing. What do I mean by this? Wayne Dyer has a quote, my favorite quote of all time. How someone treats you is their karma, how you respond is yours. My core flaw for the large part of my life is that when someone else did something to me that was dysfunctional, that wasn't right, I then overreacted and put the onus on me. Why am I sharing that in the book? Because it's a core aspect of your success to be emotionally intelligent. Okay, moving on to the fourth pillar now, and that is the servant leadership mindset and daily practice. Servant leadership. Now, I saw on your website, I was reading various aspects of what your club does, and I saw that one of the values of your club is service, so I thought this would definitely tie in. Servant leadership means that you're focused on serving others. A couple other quick things to leadership. I'm just giving you the tip of the iceberg preview. There are more details in the book. Is that leadership starts with leading yourself. And it ties into doing what's right even when other people don't agree. The world is difficult. We heard in the introductions about some very unthinkable, nasty things that are happening in the world. The world is not always easy. But if you lead yourself, if you serve others, and you do what's right even when other people disagree, you will be a true leader. And yes, it is of course leading other people. And yes, it is of course having a big vision. But you can't have the vision and lead others until you first lead yourself, serve others, and do what's right for you, even when other people don't agree. That's the fourth pillar. Fifth pillar that I want to share with you here today in my quick introduction to this 3-year project that has finally come to culmination, Reach Your Mountaintop, is to visualize the outcome of the endeavors that you choose to pursue. Use visualization. Most people never do this. They don't take it seriously. And I don't blame them because we're all busy. We all have a lot going on. But studies show that if you visualize the outcome, it will vastly increase the likelihood that you'll achieve what you want. And that could be anything. It could be anything from a goal you have. Perhaps it's a fitness goal or a relationship goal, or maybe you're doing a speech or a presentation or a project you're working on. Today, before the event, I visualized connecting with some of you. And the speech may go well, it may not. But I did use this. I visualized the speech going well. So I use this myself, and I found it to work. Ava also mentioned the speech contest, and I use visualization to compete in those contests as well. Every day, we are bombarded by countless external influences. If you remember even one of the tips I shared with you today, from the bottom of my heart, I genuinely hope it will help you deal with the challenges of our world today. And I will see you, my friends, at the mountaintop. Have a great day.
See, I told you. Wonderful. Thank you so much.